The moment has arrived. It's the final episode of the Respect and Pray show with your podcast host, Miguel Mike Medina. I started this podcast January 2022. If a lot can happen in 1 year, imagine in 3 years. In January 2022, I didn't even have a year that I've been suffering with acid reflux, but I did not let that stop me, right? I had about 6, 7 months with acid reflux when I started this podcast. I wasn't a man of faith yet at the time. August 2022 is when I started my spiritual journey, started to have a relationship with God. And I don't regret nothing ever since. It's been amazing. My life has changed forever from August 2022 to now. I started season 1. If you've been following the podcast, I started season 1 by basically me telling my guests, I'm gonna send you questions, record your video and send it to me and I'll piece it all together. But then I noticed that it was becoming too hectic, too much. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna record all of my interviews through Zoom. And that's what I've done ever since. Creating this podcast, my very first podcast, has been amazing. It has been a joy. It's just indescribable, to be honest with you. And I feel that this podcast is complete now because the guest that I have for this final episode is someone that I've been wanting on this podcast since season 1. And I knew that I wasn't gonna end this show as extremely satisfying if I didn't have this person for the podcast. And I am super, 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 super happy that I was able to interview this person for the final episode of the Respect and Pray show. If you're curious to find out who it is, check out the interview and see for yourself. Hope you guys enjoy this interview. May God bless each and every one of you. I am so grateful for every guest that has been part of the Respect and Pray show, and I am so grateful for every single person that have tuned in to watch the Respect and Pray show every Tuesday and Thursday night. So here's the final episode of the Respect and Pray show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to conclude this final episode of the Respect and Pray show with someone that I've known my entire life, and that's Miss Jessica Medina-Castillo. Jessica, big sis, thank you. It's been a long time coming. I've been wanting you since season 1, but we are finally here. How are you feeling?
I am good. Happy to be here. Happy to speak to you this lovely morning and get, your audience to know a little bit more about me and what I've worked on, in my career.
Yes, for sure. And I know we're on time restriction because we both have things going on, but you're a person that you've been working consistently since you were 13, which is very rare because not too many people start when they're 13. But I want to get into your media career. When did it all started? And just quickly mention some of the places that you worked at.
Well, I can say the passion for media, communications, the arts in general, I guess that was something that was in my blood since I was very young. But as far as, let's say, corporate communications and working in the media field on the corporate end, that started in 2006. However, working on the talent side of media, reporting and writing on a freelance basis started in 2004. So I have a good amount of years doing both. Even at times when I was working on the communications end, I was still freelancing on the talent end of the industry. And some of the companies, as you mentioned, that I've worked for is WGN America, Fox, Univision. I also, on the talent side, worked for companies like Super Canal Caribe, which is known in Dominican Republic. Also, Telemundo as well for independent shows that aired on that network. Mega TV, and so many others.
Great, great. Early on in your career, what was the toughest assignment that you had to do, if you can remember?
The toughest assignment that I can remember was honestly my first entertainment coverage, like ever, with no experience when it comes to ever doing this on television, with no educational background either. I was given the opportunity by this producer to cover the Dominican parade. And that was, I can say, the most challenging for me because I was not too focused at the time. I was very young and I was not really prepared to interview people like Felipe Lopez, which is a former NBA player, Chino Aguacate, which is a Dominican singer, and so many others that were present that day. I wasn't prepared with the right questions and I sort of had to improvise. And I can say that that was the most challenging thus far opportunity that I had because of lack of preparation. So that's why I always say prepare yourself before you dive into any career because preparation is key for everything.
Yes, indeed. I remember when you introduced me to Shino Okate back in 2010. I remember. I forgot the location, but it was like a quickly introduction. And once again, he appeared for your wedding, which was pre-pandemic. Thank God it was a pre-pandemic when it
Yes.
happened. But yeah, that's fascinating.
Shows
And
you how life works full circle, right? How
yeah.
you end up interviewing someone and never know that so many years on the line they end up playing in your wedding.
Oh yes, yes. But your wedding was one for the ages, one of the greatest days of my life. And at
Likewise.
that and I know we're going a little bit off, but I quickly want to say before weddings, I used to think like why people get so emotional weddings. Like I don't understand it. But then when I saw you walk down the aisle and I was one of the groomsmen, that's when I said, yeah, Mikey, you were wrong. Like it is deep. It is deep when it's one of your own. But yeah,
Yeah,
that was definitely a great day. It was a fantastic weekend.
it was.
But back to your media career, you were doing all of this and you didn't have a background, a BA or anything like that. But
No.
then at some point you decided to go for your BA, which you
Hmm.
did it at University of Arizona online. And then you were not done yet. You went for your master's,
Yeah.
Rutgers University, which I'm still salty that I didn't get to go, but I get it, tickets and restrictions and all these other things. How did it feel? Well, yeah, I would say, how did it feel that you were able to obtain not just one, but now two degrees under your belt? It was like that monkey was finally off your shoulders.
Mhm. I can say that's one of the most rewarding feelings, especially because my kids were able to witness it. So many mothers out there, whether they're married, whether they're single, they see sometimes things as impossible after you have children. And I say that as actually the opposite. Your children become the biggest motivation that you have, the drive that you need to push forward. And you also want to lead by example. So I always have that in the back of my head. If I want my kids to achieve certain things, I feel like I have to do those things so they can see that I did it having them, that they weren't an obstacle. If anything, they were my motivation. So it was, I guess, twice as big for me because I was able to see their smiles on their faces witnessing that moment. So the most memorable moment for me, for sure.
And you're tough because you didn't get to walk down the aisle when you got your BA, but you walked down the aisle when you went for your master's, and you were not 100%
No, I
walking
was.
down the aisle.
Yeah, unfortunately, I faced some health challenges during the ceremony, and it happened exactly at the point where I had to walk to receive my diploma. It was something that was going on with my legs or my nervous system. Not too sure what happened, but the point was that I was physically, you can see I was physically impaired. However, my faith, my strength, my resilience pushed me through, and I was able to go up get my diploma and just continue on with the ceremony. But it was a very challenging day. But I needed even assistance walking out of the venue.
Well, sis, it's time to play a game, something that I do with all of my guests. So are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Sounds exciting.
For sure. The first one, respect or loyalty.
Respect.
Okay. Second, since you're from New Jersey, what's the best restaurant that you've attended?
Oh, I love Noches de Colombia.
And I still need to go there someday. So,
There's so many, but that's like my top favorite.
Noche de Colombia, favorite menu.
I would say I like the asadito. It's like a mix of seafood and also meat with like rice and beans. It's so delicious because you got a mix of everything and some salad.
Name me your top three celebrities that you were thrilled to have an interview with.
Wow, that's a little tough because I have had the privilege of meeting so many great people. But I'm going to improvise and bring up the first names that come to mind. So Manny Pacquiao, due to his humility, uh, his sense of humor, his faith in God, he was just a great person to interview. Second favorite, second favorite. I can't even put them in order, but Canelo Alvarez, I know I'm like into boxing, but I'm just thinking about the people who were so humbling and welcoming. And even if they were rushing, they will always stop for an interview. Canelo Alvarez, always very humble, very courteous, always willing to talk to me and answer any questions I had. It was such a pleasure to interview him. Not once, not twice, but like more than 3 or 4 times. And another person I can say that was a big wow was the former president of the Dominican Republic, Leonel Fernandez. I felt like that was a huge accomplishment for me because I have never interviewed a politician and let alone a former president of any country. So I think for me, those would be the top three. And again, also his humility, the way he answered questions so eloquently, obviously, as a former president should, was one of the best interviews for me. Now, if you ask me
Rating.
who else I enjoyed seeing, Ricky Martin and uh, Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony, and when they were together, and a whole bunch, Chris Tucker as well.
Yeah, I gotta mention one other person because I remember you wrote a caption about her in sense that you feel that she was nice to chat with. Carol G. I think Carol G was another person
Oh,
there.
yes, yes, yes. Carol G, I interviewed her in her, in the very beginning before the big boom came of her career. She was also very humbling, very welcoming. It was really a pleasure speaking to her as well. I mean, I've interviewed so many people, sometimes it's hard to remember. I mean, more than 10 years of experience. And I've had many great encounters. Romeo Santos, I mean, so many in the Latin and English uh, field that there's too many to name. But yeah, Karol G was great.
Radio or podcasting?
Oh, that's interesting. Interesting question. Radio, podcast. I mean, although they have their similarities, I feel like podcast is more relaxed because now radio is also very digital, where you're still being exposed physically the way we are interacting right now. I would say podcast. It gives you more leeway to be more creative, to be more you, versus radio. You still have to follow the FCC guidelines, instructions, and laws and rules. And you do have a producer, so I would say podcast.
Print journalism or digital journalism? Which one you prefer?
I am a more digital journalism person. I feel like that is my go-to source anyway. And I feel that, most people are more on the go nowadays. So it's just very easy for them to access information from their phones, from their tablets, from their um, laptops. So I would say digital media, digital journalism in this case.
This one I never asked anyone, but because it's journalism, I gotta ask. It just popped into my head right now. Which news source on a TV screen you would like to watch during your own time, if you have time? CNN or Spectrum News?
CNN.
Okay, I got two more.
Mhm.
I'm not. This is not a top three or top five. Name me some of your travel destinations that's on your bucket list that you would love to do it with your family.
Um, I would love to go to Dominican Republic. Believe it or not, my children haven't been there yet. So that's something that I feel like it's a must do. Plus, there's so much to explore in the country that I would love to see, like Punta Cana, Puerto Plata, Santiago. Like I would like to literally do a tour of the country, but obviously that will require more than one trip. So that's number one for me. Second, and this is not in order, I'm just, improvising, just as you said. Um, I would like to take them to Disney World. I would like to take them to Disney World. I would like to go to Disney. I've never been to Disney. So I would like to do that as well. And you said three, so I'm going to mention Hawaii. That's a bit off. And due to its volcano activity right now and earthquakes, maybe not the ideal place. But that's something that in the future I would like. I would like to explore Hawaii and so many others.
I'm gonna throw an honorable mention there because your youngest son had mentioned it. Paris.
Yes, he mentions it all the time. That he even has specific place like Marbella, Spain. He wants to see the Eiffel Tower. I can tell that my youngest is going to be a travel person, just like you, his uncle, because he has a bucket list and he's only 11 of places
Oh
he wants to
man,
go. He goes to Las
I'm looking.
Vegas, a whole bunch of places.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to that as soon as he gets older. It'll be interesting to see how he'll approach that. But
Absolutely.
yeah. But last but not least in this game, who are some of the journalists that you have known or haven't met yet, whether they're dead or alive,
Mhm.
that you would love to have a sit down and just pick their brain?
Wow. There's many to count, but I'm going to mention from both English and Spanish, the first ones to come to mind. Jorge Ramos, due to his trajectory in Univision, even though he's been highly criticized by so many, I feel like his work speaks for itself. The years of trajectory that he's had, in not only in the network, but that he's still continuing to produce content on social media speaks volumes even after retirement. So he would be someone that I would like to sit down and pick their brain as far as, why he got started, what is the best advice that he can give to be successful as a journalist. And on the English end, oh my gosh, there's so many, but maybe Natalie Pasquarello. I really like her as an anchor. She's an NBC for New York. I think, the way she speaks, the way she presents news, just everything about her is so smooth. It's almost as a conversation that she's having with the audience. So I would like to speak to her, and I feel like we're very close in age, so it might be very relatable. So I will have someone on the older front, which will be Jorge, and her more on my age, to see how she ended up being an anchor, and what would be her tips of how to be a successful journalist slash anchor on television.
All right, so that concludes for this game. So I want to go into a book that you wrote and tell us the title of the book and tell us what was the driving force behind writing that book.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because I have two. I have one in English and I have one in Spanish. The one in English, which was my first baby, it was an inspiration of sharing my story of going through so many trials and tribulations and challenges in life, and how there's light at the ending of the tunnel, right? How even though I went through all these adversaries since being young, I was still able to accomplish a lot. And the name of the book is From Darkness to Light, and the story of redemption. and it's available on Amazon. And then the Spanish one is like a poetry book. It's more dedicated to mothers or mother figures in general, whether you're an aunt, grandmother, a guardian, um, grandma. It's more like a poetry centered Spanish book dedicated to all mother figures and what they mean to us. And in addition to that, I threw in some things about my own personal experiences as a mom and my grandmother, what she meant to me, and things that she used to do in my upbringing that I felt I needed to put into that book. It's like, remembering her and honoring her, as well as my mom, of course. All these things that I do on a day to day with my mom, I brought it up through poetry. So the reason for writing both, one, the Spanish one obviously is, like I just explained, to honor all mom figures and share my personal experiences with my own. And the English one is more as a memoir of myself, of what I've been through and how I have able to push forward, and how my family has been a big support system to help me achieve so much as well.
Well, I'm gonna put all the information, the Amazon link on the description. We were very fortunate that we grew up with not just one but two mothers, two
Yeah.
beautiful, kind-hearted soul
Yes.
women, and our grandmother, God rest her soul. We got to have her for as long as we did. She was 94 when she passed. Obviously, she was the motivation for me creating the Double 94 Productions. And
Mhm.
it's interesting because me, for the past 2, 3 years now, like I've been writing a book dedicating towards her.
Oh, that's
I don't know when will that be done, but that's something that's still in the works. But that goes to show how much she played a big factor in our lives, her
mhm.
and our mom as well. So, but it's very nice that you did that. And you also even design shirts that you've given to our mom as well. So that's great as well. But
Well,
Steph,
they deserve it. Just like the name of your show, the Respect and Praise Show, they deserve all the respect and praise that we can give them, for sure, because they have led that, they have been leaders, they have been hardworking women, they have been protectors, they have been loving. So they deserve all the accolades that they can get from us, for sure, bro. So I'm glad that you're doing that.
yeah, and that's one of the things I've told our mom, and I forgot who else I've said that I don't look at celebrities as heroes. I feel like the two heroes that I have in my life were our mom and our grandma. Those are heroes in my eyes. As many
Absolutely.
people will look at celebrities, but I don't. I look at them because I know them. I grew up with them. I've lived with them my entire life. So, and they were just flat amazing. Not everybody gets to say that they grew up in a household with two mothers, and we certainly had that privilege.
Yes, we did. So true.
And last but not least is where can we follow you and your work?
Okay, so everywhere pretty much, in every platform you can look me up, Jessica Medina-Castillo, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, everywhere. You can find me. I also have different portfolios that you can find online, on LinkedIn, everywhere you can find me. And you can find me under the same name as well on Amazon.com.
Well, sis, thank you once again. I
Thank
feel
you.
so proud to have you on the show, on the final episode of the Respect and Praise show as I move towards other opportunities. But you don't understand how happy I feel in this moment to have you on the show. I didn't think it was going to be possible because of your health situation, your schedule, and everything that's just been happening. But man, to conclude, and we even said this before logging in, the fact that I get to have you on the show, I feel complete now because I've had our sister Melissa
Yeah.
twice on the show. I've had other family members and friends and colleagues, but I just knew that it wasn't gonna feel as fully satisfied if I didn't get that one missing piece for the show, and I got it. So thank you,
Oh,
respect and
thank you.
praise to everything that you're doing, sis. I keep pulling for you. I pray for you every day with
Thank you.
your health and
Likewise.
with your career, and always remember that there's always gonna be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to your audience so they can learn a little bit about me and my trajectory. And I'm very proud of you too. The Respect and Press show has been doing great things. And you know, I think it's in the family genes to be creative and do amazing things. So proud of you too as well, brother. Happy that we made it happen.